Hi there, Golden Gun. This is a video response to your videos, which are God, belief and faith, and proof and understanding. Before I start, I want to say that I got extremely irritated when I was watching your videos. Because when I was watching your video, I got the impression that you are a very self-righteous, pretentious, and an arrogant person. I hope in this video I can flush it out a little bit more and explain to you where I'm coming from. Let me start by addressing your first video. Your first video started with the lobster analogy, and that already pissed me off. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the moral of that story is that if you don't go out and actively search for God, then you will never find Him. If that is truly the message that you're trying to convey, then let me tell you something, man. You have no idea what atheism is, and you have no idea what the current state of atheism is. Because let me tell you something, a large percentage of atheists right now are actually former theists. So you making the accusations that atheists are non-believers simply because they don't go out and search, it's just a bunch of self-righteous crap. Because an atheist, which is a former theist, are actually people that did go out and search and did got convinced initially, but because they went further, because they go out and search further, they found out that the evidence are actually not that convincing, that the premises they had before didn't fit the observations. Because people like Brian Sapiens is a former theist. People like here on YouTube, like Professor MTH, former theist. The Atheist Paladin, a former theist. Me myself, a former theist. But maybe you're right, and I'm missing the point here. I'm just missing the point, and that was not the moral of the story, of the lobster analogy. If that is so, please tell me. I'd really like to know what the moral of that story is, if it is not what I said it was. And then you quoted Thomas Aquinas, which apparently you liked a lot. Let me tell you something, man. That quote of his has at least one fallacy in it, and that is the fallacy of hasty generalization. Because if you take his quote on face value, what he's saying is that all atheists doesn't believe because they are stubborn or because no evidence is enough, and all theists believe because they don't need evidence. If you cannot see why that is a hasty generalization, then dude, you are truly lost, man. It applies only on certain cases, and it doesn't apply on a lot of cases. And then you try to present something which looks a lot like the argument from design, which apparently you find just to be very convincing. Well, let me tell you something, man. I don't know how many times atheists have to address the argument from design before you finally get through to your head that it is just not convincing to us. I'm not going to fully spell it out for you, but it is suffice to say that the appearance of design is not evidence of design. And why else would you bring up this argument if you're not making the arguments from design? I don't understand. In case I'm strawmanning you, and that is not what you're trying to, and that is not what you're trying to do, please tell me what it is that you're trying to do. If you're not making the argument from design, what is it? What the hell is it that you're trying to do? And then let me skip straight to your second video. In the beginning of the second video, you said that you were not trying to present evidence for the existence of God. No, you were trying to give us a reason to believe. You didn't explicitly said that you're giving us a reason to believe in God, but I'm assuming that is what you're saying. If you said, I'm giving you a reason to believe, I assume that you're trying to say that you're giving us a reason to believe in God. Okay. The more I think about what you said there, the less I understand it. I mean, seriously, you're right. You're absolutely right. People don't get you. Let me explain how I see it. The target group, the main target group of your first video, are obviously atheists. It's just obvious, right? But to an atheist, the only reason to believe in God is if there is evidence for the existence of God. Any other reason or evidence or whatever is just not good enough. So it doesn't compute with me. It just doesn't compute with me. I mean, because when you say, I'm going to give you a reason to believe in God, and you're talking to an atheist, isn't it logical for that person to think that you're actually giving him evidence for the existence of God. Am I stretching logic here? I mean, don't you get that? Also, this is also a fallacy, because when you say wait a minute, any reason any reason to believe in God, which is in itself not the evidence for the existence of God, has to assume the existence of God for it to work. I mean, if you don't agree with me on that, then explain to me how your argument still stands if we don't make the premise that God exists in the first place. How does it work then? How does it work? I don't see it. If you don't assume that God already exists, how does your argument work? I don't understand it. Please. And okay, I'm going to go straight to the point as to why your video pissed me off so much. Because when I was watching your video, I see you make all these ridiculous assumptions about atheists. Because when I was watching your video, never ever for a microsecond did I get the impression that you take our arguments on face value. I never got the impression that you are willing to take us on our own terms. I never got the impression that when an atheist tell you that he doesn't believe, that you actually believe him. It never crossed your mind that an atheist doesn't believe simply because the arguments are not convincing enough. No. That is not what you think. You make up all these stupid reasons for yourself to convince yourself why an atheist doesn't believe. That is just, I mean, you are one of those guys that sees for example, the arguments of design and goes like, wow, this is just so convincing. Wow, I cannot believe how anybody cannot be convinced by this. And then you go out and test your arguments, and it doesn't work. And then the conclusion that you make is that, oh, it doesn't work simply because the atheist doesn't believe it, or the atheist doesn't understand it. That must be the reason. He doesn't understand it, because if he does understand it, why is he still not convinced? Or you make the conclusion that, oh, the atheist has an ulterior motive. Never ever for 1 second did it cross your mind that maybe the argument is just not convincing enough. Maybe the argument is just a bunch of crap. It never crossed your mind. Why else would you say that there's some sort of agenda against faith? Why else would you say it? Why else would you say that when an atheist looks outside, sees a tree, and doesn't have enough courage to see that there is something more? Why else would you say it? Why else would you say it if you does believe that we are not convinced by the evidence on face value? You make up all these stupid arguments, man. Seriously, how arrogant are you? Seriously, man. So let me end by giving you a few advice. If you're seriously sincere about trying to reach out to us, let me tell you something. First, what you do is to recognize what the most commonly used arguments are of theists. And the next time you talk to an atheist, assumes that he has already heard that argument before. Because seriously, man, the argument from design and the argument that you made at the end of your first video about if you want to know God, just ask him. Those arguments are so common, man. Seriously, we are beaten to death by those arguments. If you truly want to convince an atheist, don't use the same old crap anymore. They are debunked a thousand times before. Also, take us on face value. When we say we are not convinced, just trust us when we say we are not convinced. Don't make up all these stupid arguments, stupid reasons. Oh, an atheist doesn't believe because he's angry of God. Don't do that. Just take us on our face value. We don't believe simply because we don't believe. Anyways, this is the end of my video. I hope you understand what I'm saying, man. I hope you understand. I hope you can get back to me. And thank you for watching my video.